I am Natalie. I'll be your host today. Today we're going to listen to Liat, who is going to tell about Israel Shared Clinical Research Platform. Welcome everyone in the room, and also welcome everyone online. If you have any questions during the presentation, please keep them for yourself. We will have a Q&A session at the end. And for the people joining us online, you can use your Huva app to post the questions. Liat will be able to refer to them after the presentation as well. The floor is yours, Liat.
Thank you for the introduction. So I'm Liat. I'm from Israel, and I'm a senior business and process manager at Rambam Health Care Campus, and I've been working there for the past 8 years, and I come from the world of product and project management. So next 15 minutes, I want to introduce you to Rambam Health Care Campus, unlock with you the clinical research process and how we leverage it by FHIR, and what's next on our roadmap using FHIR. So Rambam Health Care Campus is the largest hospital in the northern region of Israel. We give healthcare services for over 2 million people, and we serve as a referral hospital for 12 other hospitals in the northern region. With over 1,000 beds and almost 6,000 employees, we consider a very large hospital in Israeli standards. Our vision is to be the leading medical center in medical quality, patient experience, health promotion, research, education, and in pioneering innovation, changing the future of medicine. So though our medicine is our core activity, we also have many more branches in Rambam. We promote collaboration with a lot of vendors in the Israeli health ecosystems. We have a teaching center for trauma medicine due to our mass casualty situation experience, and we promote science and innovation. Rambam is also part of the Haifa Digital Health Incubator, which is a joint venture to IBM, Pitango Venture Capitals, and Medtronic with over $40 million. Our EHR system, called Prometheus, it is a self-developed EHR by the Rambam IT division, and here are my awesome teammates over here. It was first launched in 2000 and is now used in 14 other hospitals in Israel. With a click of a button, you can see all the patient's data from internal and external systems. And with 23 years of data depth, we consider it to be a data treasure for research and partnerships. We also have research programs together with Johns Hopkins University in Baltimore, Harvard University in Boston, Stanford University, Cornell in New York, and Chulabon, Bangkok, Thailand. Our FHIR community in Israel was established in 2021 by both Ministry of Health and vendors in the industry, creating an ecosystem of clinician, IT experts, and tech leaders, adapting the FHIR standard to Israeli common needs. We have monthly regular meetings in working groups. And over there, we deliberate on FHIR issues, rather common dilemmas, solution, architecture, knowledge. And basically, we participate in common sessions and discussions. Now, today, I want to talk to you about the clinical research process. Clinical research are the primary method to determine whether a new sort of treatment is safe and effective to use on humans. Every medical treatment given today at Rambam Health Care Campus is a result of clinical research. In 2022, we had over 1,600 active clinical researchers. Almost 400 of them started that year. So I want to zoom in with you on the data collection part of the process. So it all starts down when the doctor signs a patient on an informed consent form. After that, a research coordinator starts collecting all the patient's data and medical history from the EHR. They print it and save hard copy files of the prior visits to the hospital, lab test results, measures, etc. Then, since every research has a sponsor, they open a web interface of the sponsor's electronic data capture. Now, remember, there are many sponsors, so each one of them needs its own electronic data capture. So they manually enter the data, they type it in to the sponsor's electronic data capture, and then sponsor representative go over the hard copy files, okay, and compare them to the electronic data. And then, only then, they run data integrity test. And then they're comparing it whether, if they have any data discrepancies, so they're comparing it to see where the source is from. So, of course, the flaws of such a process are the manual work they hold. We have typos and data inaccuracies. We have backlogs in data entering, since we're supposed to enter the data within 5 days work from our EHR system to the sponsor's electronic data capture, but we're not always managing to do that. And due to that, we sometimes have delayed reporting of safety events, okay, such as a side effect reaction, okay? And all of that has an extended monitoring process. And it all comes down to very high human resource expenses, both for us as a medical center and for sponsors. So we come out with a groundbreaking initiative to have FHIR-based data sharing for clinical research. In a program co-sponsored by the Israel Innovation Authority and the Ministry of Health, we went for a data sharing program. Its purpose is to digitalize our data sharing, significantly reduce manual effort, optimize our clinical research process, and, which is also most important, establish a common terminology on clinical researchers. We also joined forces with an Israeli startup named Yona Link. Yona Link automatically takes FHIR entities' data and transfer that to various sponsors' electronic data capture using AI. Okay, so this way, for me at Rambam Hospital, okay, what I get is I don't need to work with various electronic data captures for various sponsors. Okay, I can use Yona Link as an entry point, and then the sponsors get to work with all the participants in the program. So we designed an architecture based on a full FHIR server, okay, at Rambam. We also had Yona Link on our side to transfer data from FHIR entities to sponsors' electronic data capture, but we still needed to convert our data from the legacy system to FHIR's resources. And for that, we use Fume. Fume is an open source cutting edge mapping engine that maps data entities to FHIR resources, okay, according to the Israeli profiles and the US. We have Daniel over here, which is from Outburn. He can tell you about Fume if you want to know more. But combining these three components, which is a FHIR server from Rambam, Yona Link, and Fume, we managed to have an automatic data transfer directly from the EHR to the EDCs. So if I want to go with you of the data flow, okay? So all the data is kept at the Prometheus EHR, all the patient's information. Now, since Prometheus is an operational system, we do not execute any large queries on that. So we transfer the data to our data warehouse. During this transformation, we also do coding translation, okay? So we translate the codes to UCOM, slowing codes, binding codes, okay? Then we remove the data through Fume, okay, that maps them to IR core file profiles. And from there, we keep the data at a FHIR server. And from this FHIR server, the data is transferred to Yona Link, and from that to the various sponsored ADCs. We look at our architecture. So we have the data entry point at the EHR, then transferred to the data warehouse. We're using TIPCO as an integration platform to transfer the data from the data warehouse through Fume to our FHIR server. And right now, we're using Fume also, we're using TIPCO also to transfer the data from a FHIR server to a Yona Link as a clinical research, and from there to the sponsor's electronic data capture. But in the future, we want Yona Link to be able to question our FHIR server directly, as of any other vendors who we collaborate with. Now, the new streamlining clinical research process starts with the doctor signing the patient on an informed consent form. From there, the data collection is being held mainly by the EHR. And from there, an automated process starts transferring the data from FHIR entities to the sponsor's electronic data capture, where they can run data integrity tests, having only one legacy system, okay, that they need to check. Now, our challenges in this process, of course, the terminology. Okay, our Prometheus CHR goes back 23 years. So we have a lot of internal coding systems, and we have the inner value sets, okay? So we need to translate that to FHIR terminology. And for that, we needed to harness people in our organization, okay, to help us do this coding translation. We also had strict timetables dictated to us by the Israeli Innovation Authority, and we had to flatten our steep learning curve. Okay, and for that, we use Fume as a shortcut. And the other thing is that we were the pioneering in the FHIR field in Israel. So we're the first hospital to have a full FHIR server architecture. And we didn't really have much reference design we could lean on. But our benefits are, of course, the data accuracy, the near real-time data sharing, increasing the data volume we could transfer to the sponsors, and accelerating the research time. But most of all, making a smarter and better use of our skilled research coordinated time. Looking at our future FHIR roadmap. So, of course, we want to reuse our already mapped FHIR entities, okay, in future projects. I talked about the community and how we have other participants in this program. So we want to roll out our FHIR solution to the other participants in the program. Looking at our vision for the next 2 years, we want to be fully FHIR ready, which means representing our entire EHR in FHIR entities, okay? We also want to use that ability to promote medical innovation and collaborate and create more collaboration with a lot of other vendors in the health ecosystem. And we want to use FHIR as a platform to communicate with our patients, okay, such as sending them questionnaires or connecting to the medical devices. And I think that's it. Thank you.
Round of applause for Liat.
So, questions?
Yes. Are there any questions in the room? I don't see any online. Oh, yes.
What sort of data volumes are you putting through these feeds at the moment?
So at the moment, I'm talking about approximately 6,000, about 6,000 patients' data, okay? And well, as we go along doing other projects, we'll increase the data volume.
So it's all reliant on the data in the electronic health records being accurate.
Yes.
So how do you establish that given clinician behavior and humans in the system?
So first of all, like the Prometheus electronic as an EHR has many rulings inside of it. Like if you want to enter like height, okay, so you need to determine whether you're putting the height in meters or in centimeters, okay? And if you chose centimeters and you enter 1.7, for example, so it will shout like you cannot do that. It's not like in the range, okay, for that. So we have constrictions like in the system at one point, and we also have the data accuracy, testing and data integrity tests at the other end, okay? Where the research, when you conduct a research, so you need to see that there are no data discrepancies. And if there are, you need to check why. So like if the lab results show very high values, maybe it's true and maybe it isn't. So you need to go back to the lab and check it out, okay? So that's why they run the data integrity tests.
The diagnosis.
Sorry. I'll give you the mic.
The diagnoses are reported in a structured manner in the EHR system, because I know the case that sometimes they are reported, but especially in the outpatient case, the physicians don't want to report structured diagnosis.
So diagnostic, they are structured, okay? And you have to enter at least one diagnostic event, like a report. But a lot of time we ran into doctors like writing or elaborating in free text. And right now we're not really addressing that, okay? Like we will be able to address that on further, on future developments we want to do. But right now we're not doing that. We're only doing like if they entered like condition, a specific condition or a specific ICD-9, or ICD-10 report, then we can address it.
It's not done yet.
Not yet.
Any other questions? Yes.
Thank you for the presentation. So, I don't know if this is a fair question, but I've heard organizations in multiple countries, for odd reasons to me, that the introduction of FHIR was bound to having security issues and stuff like that. Have you had any issues introducing a standard such as FHIR into this flow? And if you had, what was the arguments to sort of convince decision makers to introduce it?
Well, if you're talking about FHIR as general,
Yeah.
so we have a lot of discussions about it at the community, and there is a working group, okay, dedicated to that, and they're thinking about and talking about solutions. So this way they can solve it. Now, I'm coming from the product side of it, so I'm not really familiar with the solutions, but I know there are discussions and they deliberate on that a lot.
Okay, so you have been able to lean on that working group?
Yes,
for making
definitely,
these
yes.
Okay, good for you.
Okay. There are no questions online. I want to thank you for your presentation, Liat.
Thank you.
Give a round of applause again for Liat, and
Thank you very much.
we'll get ready
It's
for
been
the
a
next
pleasure.
session. Thank you.